Hi, I just got back from seeing The Martian at the cinemas. Ha ha! Yes, I chucked a sickie, went to the first opening session to see it on the big screen. None of that 3D rubbish, by the way. Oh no, good old-fashioned 2D. Yes, it is as good as you have heard and as you are hoping it is, I think. It certainly deserves its, 95% Rotten Tomato rating. All the critics, they absolutely love this thing, and yes, it is as good as I was hoping. And this is sort of like just my thoughts after watching the thing. Now, if you've been living on Mars and you haven't heard of The Martian, shame on you, because it's, in the science, engineering, nerd, geek community, it's all the talk, it's all the rage, because it's based on Andy Weir's novel. It's supposedly a sci-fi novel about how an astronaut, Mark Watney, gets stranded on Mars. He was part of the Ares 3 crew that lands on Mars. They're supposed to spend like a month there and then go, but a sandstorm comes along and whoop, they have to abort. They think he's dead, so they leave him there, bugger off back home, and, well, he's alive, and he has to survive, and to use his words, science the shit out of it, to actually survive on Mars for hundreds and hundreds of days, or sols, as they're known on Mars. And it's basically, if you've seen the movie Apollo 13, that scene where they've got to put the round filter into the square hole or whatever, and all the engineers are gathered around the table. They've got all these parts, and they paraphrasing, but right, we've been given this task to make this fit into this using only these parts here. Let's do it. That sort of, MacGyverism engineering type mentality.
Okay, people, listen up. People upstairs handed us this one, and we gotta come through. We gotta find a way to make this fit into the hole for this, using nothing but that. Let's get it organized.
Okay, let's build a filter.
Better get some coffee going, too.
And that's basically pretty much most of the movie. And Andy Weir's book is pretty much a day-by-day account of surviving on Mars, actually, doing the engineering, doing the science, and making it all work, and actually surviving. And that's basically what most of the movie is. So it's pretty much a movie for geeks, but the general audience will certainly love it and appreciate it as well. Now, stunning visuals of Mars. I just love it. I don't know how, all computer generated and all that sort of stuff, but fantastic. It's just what you picture. Now, there were a few parts in the movie where I thought, they could have used the nerds a bit better, because the book's all about the nerds back at JPL and NASA and everyone trying to solve problems and do stuff like that. And Mindy Park, for example, one character in there, I thought they'd really use her, and she doesn't really do a huge amount in the movie. I thought they could have done that a bit better, but really nitpicking stuff like that. But it's definitely a movie that nerds will appreciate. It really doesn't leave you wanting, although the book is so rich. I've read the book as well. It's so rich in detail in terms of the engineering and the science, because even though it's supposed to be a science fiction novel, Andy Weir actually went to all the trouble to actually, make it like real science. There's only a couple of things which they take a few liberties with. The sandstorm, for example, which is the whole premise of the movie, why they have to, abort Mars. Of course, a sandstorm on Mars based on, Mars, very thin atmosphere. It'd just be like a gentle breeze here on Earth, but most of it is really based on real science, real engineering, solving problems and things like that. It still doesn't leave you wanting, but it's amazing how much detail is actually in the book, and then that they have to chop out, they chose to chop out of the movie. I'm not sure how long it was, actually. It seemed to fly by, but there was like a lot of stuff that I was, sort of expecting to see in the movie and wasn't there. Not that that's a bad thing. It's still a fantastic movie, but there's tons and tons of detail. And I guess with hindsight, it's really obvious when you've got a book with so much technical detail of all these technical things happening day by day over, like 100 days or whatever, then, you can't include all of it in the movie. In fact, there's one scene, I won't spoil it for you, where it's basically a nod to people who have read the book. And I heard people in the audience laugh, but they didn't know what the line was because they sort of leave it out. And if you've read the book, you know what it is and what they're talking about. But yeah, so that was really quite neat. And I thought the ending was absolutely perfect because the book is actually quite an abrupt ending, so to speak. But the movie, Ridley Scott or whoever wrote the script or whoever was involved in that, yeah, they did the ending really well and highlighted, the science and engineering, and as I'm talking about, the young people actually getting into it. So I thought absolutely brilliant ending for this thing. But overall, the biggest thing about this movie is that it is basically one big advertisement for science, for engineering, for getting kids. You can imagine kids actually watching this thing and going, wow, I really want to get into science, engineering, botany. Mark Watney's a botanist and mechanical engineer, and that's how he survives on Mars, using his botany skills to grow stuff, his mechanical engineering skills to do things. And you can just picture kids watching this movie and just, wanting to get into various areas of the sciences, be it engineering, even botany, for example. You can see, people go, oh, wow, that botany thing sounds all right. And it's fantastic. I don't know of another movie, and please leave it in the comments if you think there is a better movie that's an advertisement for science and engineering. Off the top of my head, I can't think of one. So if you do have one, yeah, leave it in the comments down below. So that's it. The Martian. I've got to go back and watch it again. It was so good. Oh, fantastic movie. 2 thumbs up and a big Fonz. Hey. You'll get that once you see the movie. Anyway, there was one line in the movie that I didn't like, that I thought they shouldn't include. And I'll leave that up to you to figure it out. Anyway, go see it. The Martian. Beauty. Catch you next time.